I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing. You've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.
Hi guys, welcome to Crypto MC. With me is my trade buddy Fibonacci Lee. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello, happy Friday.
Yes, it is a happy Friday. We had a little bit of an FOMC rally after the market decided whatever was said is dovish, and subsequently I saw the altar really pick up. We saw a big drop in the dominance. So we definitely want to be sharing this with you guys today, and guess what? We've got a special guest backstage. Lee, tell us a little bit about what and how he trades.
What you mean? What do we trade? How
What
we
strategy
trade?
does he use, my friend? I'm trying to get you
Oh,
in
our
here to
guest,
talk.
our
People
guest.
are saying you never talk,
I
so
mean, wow, we tweeted already out there. You know, his name is so big. I mean, everyone. I mean, our community should know him by now. We had this incredible trader with us few times already. That's not his first time. So, oh, let's welcome him. The best
there we go.
Ichimoku trader I know.
There you go. That's it. That's what I want to hear. The best Ichimoku Cloud trader. There you go. GCP, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, thank you. Yourself?
We awesome. Thanks for taking the time and sitting here and talking charts with Fibonacci Lee and myself. The last time, it's been too long, actually, I have to say. Hey?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's always great to be on live with you guys.
So last time we spoke, we had a scenario where you were looking at Bitcoin, and I think it was Bitcoin round. We were at the 15, 16s, and your comments at the cloud at that stage was, "There's nothing. This looks bleak." You know. Today we've had a little bit of a higher time frame rally, and the fact that we've got a higher time frame rally actually now starts talking to your strategy strength again. Maybe you can dive into that a little bit more. What do you see with Bitcoin? What is this that's on the screen that we need to look at?
Okay, so on the screen, we've got the Bitcoin 1 weekly chart on the cloud. And basically what we're seeing here is the possibility of a high time frame reversal. So there are no particular specific signals on the weekly time frame on the cloud yet. However, we have seen price reclaim the Tenkan line, which is the blue line here. And we're starting to see the lagging span, which is this green line here, coming over the price. That is the first kind of indicator you want to see for a reversal. It's not a trading signal per se, but it does show you that there is some strength in the move and that high time frame resistance is being overcome.
Sorry to interrupt. Yep. My screen here is a little bit small. Can you please zoom in a little bit in that particular portion of the chart?
Sure. So does that work?
Perfect. Thank you.
So you can see the lagging span over here, which has peaked over price, and you can see the price has, with this impulse candle, broken up over the Tenkan. Another couple of hints we have as to where this might go are the fact that the Tenkan is curling upwards, the Kijun is coming down, yet there is this large gap a large imbalance between the Tenkan and the Kijun. Now, we have to remember that Tenkan and Kijun lines can be considered kind of more complex moving averages. So when we have a large gap between the two, generally it means that price is overextended in one direction, and that some mean reversion is due. So the next hint is the fact that we've got this flat Kumo span, cloud span over here, and a dropping span A over here. This is very similar to what happened with ETH last bull market. If I switch over to ETH, we can see that the situation here is really similar to ETH, where we had a large gap between the TK lines, we had a flip, and we had a flat Kijun, a flat Kumo cloud with a breaking down span. This cloud span basically acts as an upper limit for price, at least until we have a significant amount of strength. So our initial resistance points are the keygen line, which is this red line here. So that's at basically 33.8, 33.7. And should we break through that, I imagine that we would form a higher high somewhere wherever the price intersects with the cloud. Should the stars align and things look really bullish, then we would, chop through, would run an edge-to-edge trade to the upper cloud span, and that's when I would really think that this rally hits the brakes and has a reversal. Otherwise, it's going to just keep on going up forever.
What is interesting? Sorry to interrupt you. What is interesting, if you look at just as a bit of an expectation management, if you look at, I love the similarities you found between this and Ethereum. But for most people, it's not bull market rally. This is like a bear market, the end of the bear market rally in a sense. Because if you look at ETH, if you can maybe flip back to ETH, we can clearly see that although that is in formation, it still takes some time of accumulation that needs to happen before we even can start maybe attack it.
Oh, definitely. You're on the weekly time frame. You're definitely going to expect at least one rejection, and it will probably be a harsh rejection. BTC obviously has a much higher market cap than ETH had at this point in time, so it will not be a 60%, 66% rejection as we had here, but we would expect at least a rejection on the first attempt through it, create another low, and then maybe manage on the second or third attempt. The beautiful thing about this move on Ethereum was that people saw price was at 240 and the top of the cloud was at 840, and nobody thought that it could pull that edge-to-edge trade, and it was like it was such disbelief that we basically ripped right through it, that most people were left on the sidelines. And that's how the best moves are done, because once you crash through it, then you can see the FOMO. You can see the FOMO candles right here.
And kind of run away with everybody.
That was the March 2020 crash, right? And right after that, no one believed that the market can bounce.
Yeah. Exactly. So if we switch to the daily on Bitcoin, we can see that we had this great curved bottom over here, and again we got a TK cross here, which confirmed the entry into the cloud. And once if you followed the Ichimoku system, you would have been in here and you'd have sold at this candle here, and then you would have re-entered over here. So you'd be in for a couple of beautiful moves. The beautiful thing about this cloud configuration is the way the cloud is tilted up and running upwards. And it's also quite thin. That shows momentum. When you have a very thin upward sloping or downward sloping cloud, that indicates strength in the move. As we're starting to
almost similar. Sorry, that is almost similar to if you can just zoom out a little bit again. You see that narrow cloud, during the bull run on the weekly, when it really starts getting thin, or in that big sell-off like you had there.
So over here, you see exactly.
How long does momentum necessarily turn around when you have these narrow clouds? Because I mean, on the daily, it's screaming that this can last forever, but realistically, on the weekly, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, or it's pointing to it can potentially last forever. A narrow cloud forming. So what would you be looking for invalidation, or to know that maybe the retrace is coming?
Okay, so what I would be looking at, first of all, the cloud is now starting to broaden, which makes sense as we're starting to consolidate. It's an upward consolidation, but it's a consolidation nonetheless. We're seeing that the cloud span B is starting to flatten, and over the next few days, we can probably expect the cloud span A to start flattening out as well. If I was looking for an entry, I would probably bid the daily Tenkan, wait for a retest there, or if I was going
What
to be
price is that?
that is at 22.3. That's at 22.3. And if I was super, cheeky, I would try bid 20,200 or 20,300 for the Kijun.
No below 20 realistic entries at this stage. Won't want to venture there, or if price goes there, the bullish narrative disappears.
Exactly. So, if you're trading on the daily and you miss this move here, unfortunately, there's been so much momentum that now you're kind of stranded. You either need to FOMO in at a somewhat exposed level, or you need to hope for a retrace, which may or may not come right now. It might be that the retrace comes when the Tenkin is way past this current price, or you might buy in now, and we might have a 20% retrace and bounce of the Kijun. So generally, when I'm in these situations, what I do is I switch down to the 12-hour, and this gives you obviously much better resolution. And here you can start to see a momentum. The momentum is easing out. You can see that the price obviously isn't as vertical. We came in, we had the deviation below the Tenkan, came up on it, we bounced off it yesterday. We can see the cloud is starting to level out. So now what we want to see is we either want to see the Kijun catch up with price and then bid the Kijun, or again, if we want to be super aggressive and think that the move is overextended, we might want to bid the cloud span A. A potential area of concern is that the lagging span is starting to approach price. This happens when price is hitting resistance. So if we start seeing the lagging span enter price, then generally it's a sign that it's at high time frame. It's at a significant resistance level, and if you follow the 12-hour and you've been long from 18.8, well, maybe you might want to book some profits or at least put in a protective stop, say maybe below this swing failure here, to protect your gains.
What time frame would you need to flip into to actually maybe initiate a short to try and maybe, a short goes to a long entry, if you want to try and trade both ways?
Yeah. So generally with Ichimoku, you only take a short when price is below the cloud and you have a bearish DK cross. So, you exit your longs when you have a bearish DK cross. So when the red line crosses over the blue line above the cloud, that's when you exit your longs. And you enter your shorts when the price is below the cloud and the red line crosses over the blue line. And then you exit when the blue line comes up over the red line. So it's mirror image. If we slip to the 4-hour here, we can see that things are much more horizontal. We can see that the lagging span is entering and exiting from through price, which obviously, as we said earlier, signifies resistance. And maybe if you were a bit trigger happy to book those profits, you would wait for a bearish DK cross on the 4-hour. So as your exit. Going down to the 1-hour, this is a hot mess here, and it's pretty untradeable. You'd get chopped up to death, if you had to trade the 1-hour.
I can imagine that. I'm actually picking up a comment here from Philip. I'm just going to bring it up, and it's a big. If you look at the Ichimoku indicator and you load it on TradingView.
Those are my settings.
It comes with standard Forex stuff. So what settings do you use for crypto?
So basically, the standard TradingView settings are designed for legacy markets. So that's 5 trading days a week, weekends, etc. Whereas crypto is basically obviously 24/7. So what we do is we use these settings that are on screen. And basically these are doubled. So it eliminates or reduces fake outs, and it basically forces you to take less trades. And obviously, the less trades you take, the less chances you have of getting wrecked.
So yeah, the thing about what I like about the Ichimoku, it's a very conservative strategy in that sense. It only really gets you in when there's strong momentum, and it really gets you out when the momentum is going on. So you don't end up trying to pick bottoms and end up with smelly fingers. And the same for when we try and hit the tops. So in the prognosis for you at this stage is Bitcoin is losing momentum in a bad way. It doesn't necessarily mean it's over, because on the weekly there's still a lot of room. And who are we to say that it's over now, at this stage?
So basically, if I was in Bitcoin and I was planning my exits would either be, I would probably take profit at the weekly keygen and then re-enter once we close above it. And I would definitely take profits at the lower cloud span, the cloud span 8, the green one. If we close up within the cloud, then I would re-enter and take profits again at span B, the upper one. And if by some miracle at that point we close above it, then it's kind of confirmed bull run. We're running up back to all-time high. So and that statement goes to show how low the chances are that we actually do get a close above the cloud.
Wow, if you're in a spot trade, where would you put your stop?
If I were in a spot trade, I would put my stop below this 12-hour SFP down here.
Okay, so you're not doing anything right now at that current top?
What I don't. Can you?
Are you thinking about selling some? What are you doing? You're just basically waiting.
Oh no! I'm holding.
I'm asking because yesterday evening, one of our members asked me to have a look at Bitcoin chart, which I haven't done for quite a long time, to be honest. And I saw a little bit of bearish divergence on a daily. Yesterday we closed actually with the reversal candle on a daily that prints like another bearish divergence. And to me, I kind of have this feeling that maybe the local top is here, and then we started already the move towards these 20,000s.
Yeah. So
well, that's only like 10% move that we're predicting here, but
It depends. It depends where you entered, and it depends how comfortable
in a
you
scenario
are.
where we will have entered at the bottom. Basically, this is where we called the long at the bottom, where our members actually they still have the position open in the wallet, leveraged at 15,000, 16 highest.
16.6, but they're fighting us now. They're saying, "I'll screw you. I will never ever close it again because I bought the bottom." And
I think you can actually hold that bottom, because that was my next question. I think the bottom is in. What do you think?
I would say I would agree that the bottom is in. It doesn't mean we're not going to revisit it and we're not going to print a high time frame double bottom, or that we won't come back down and form a high time frame higher low. So the thing to bear in mind is we haven't taken out these highs yet.
Yeah.
So we're pretty exposed. So it really depends on your trading style. If you got in somewhere in the 18s and you're over here and you think it's high time frame resistance, sure, by all means take some profits, or else put a stop below the daily Tenkan, or else below the 12-hour SFP. It really depends on where your own risk appetite and where you fall in the fear versus greed spectrum. Are you terrified? If you're terrified of giving your money back to the market, which is not the optimal way of trading because you're going to get shaken out a lot, but if you are kind of somewhat neurotic and you want to hold on to those gains, and maybe you got in on leverage and this is life-changing money, then screw it. A close under the Tenkan and you're out on the 12-hour. and then you can re-enter when we close back on top. But that might cause you to miss out on these kind of impulse moves here. So it's not the best strategy.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually want to quickly ask a question for all the viewers. So the question that I have is, guys, if you feel the bottom is in, so let me know in the comment section if you like the content. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and yeah, let's continue on. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. We do take the time to actually answer each and every one of those comments ourselves. So I'll be the one typing in there. So yes, back to you, GCP.
So how about you take a look at the ETH?
I would love to take a look at ETH because we kind of now have a really good idea, and we know that Bitcoin is the rising ship, you know, or the tide, you know, it kind of rises all the ships and so forth. So let's see, Ethereum, what do you see there?
So the first thing I see is that Ethereum is showing, or at least towards the bottom, showed higher relative strength. We can see here that Ethereum, that after the FTX saga, Ethereum formed a higher low, whereas if we flip to
Bitcoin went
here,
way lower,
Bitcoin made a lower low. So high time frame wise, it indicates that Ethereum is stronger. On the weekly, again, we have a C clamp here. We have a large discrepancy, a large gap between the TK lines, and the resistance levels to look at on a high time frame are this cloud span here. This lines up really nicely with, depending where we come out on it, assuming we consolidate and maybe go down and up. This level here ties in very nicely with this support level here, which has now flipped to resistance. So I would say that basically somewhere around 2000 is where this move would probably top. Unless we get some mega catalyst, which causes price to go pretty vertical. And then one phenomena in the cloud is that price really loves to go through these twists. So whenever you start seeing the price approaching one of these twists, it tends to act as a magnet for it, and it tends to cross through it. I can try find another example. No, there isn't one on this chart. So yeah, Ethereum is much more clear. We can see that, again, the lagging span is approaching price, and so that this is a high time frame resistance level. It's a time to be cautious, but again, if you followed the system and you've got in at the edge to edge, and then this candle would have carried you through, basically, so you wouldn't have closed, and then you'd have stayed into the trade. I mean, right now you're sitting on 28% profit, so you're in very good territory over here.
If you have a look at Ethereum bigger time frame, I actually want to ask you a question, because I'm looking at your larger time frame, and I love the fact that, guys, let me know in the comment section whether you're enjoying this. Give us a 777 in the comment section, because it's nice looking at somebody else's charts as well, not just mine or Lee's all the time. But when I look at this, it's actually so crystal clear that Ethereum is so far off from making even a higher high. Although it made a higher low, that's all good. But the wave low that ended up not making a lower low, that still needs to be taken out in the same way as Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is right up at that level where Ethereum's got a long way to go. What do you make of that?
I make it that if you look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, then you will see that ETH versus Bitcoin is at a support level. So I would say that probably ETH is due for a rally in comparison to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has been outperforming recently, but I would say that ETH is probably primed to steal its thunder for a while.
So if we hold that 20k BTC level, because at some stage, some sort of a reasonable retrace and shakeout, the easy money, they need to get shaken out again, their stops need to be taken. It's at that point where we actually really think that there might be a more stronger alt season coming forth by looking at this chart.
Correct.
I love the fact that you are calling 20,000 because a lot of people are still hoping for retrace back below 20, 19K, 18K. That will be like most of the traders will see in their chart if they have to take another position on the long. So that's why this Ikimoku strategy telling us now to maybe we have to take a little bit more risk and getting a little bit earlier because, like I said, when it's too easy, maybe it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
actually want to continue.
yeah. I severely doubt that we're going to see sub 20K again, not unless something catastrophic happens. Tether loses its peg, Binance goes under. Which is
Yeah, that's
existential
end of the-
existential for the industry. Then again, if that happens, we're all dead. So it's off to McDonald's
So
for
test
us.
of 20K, that's definitely a grab.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
If we hit 20K again, I'm definitely buying that with every single penny I've got.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to
Brilliant.
actually ask the audience real quick, guys. I mean, let's be honest. Let's just be honest with everybody that's viewing. Let us know in the comments. If you would be willing to buy, if price now from where it's at now falls all the way back down to 17, 16, 15K, and even 20K, because it's going to be a scary, $3,000 drop candle. Because normally what we found, and we've done these experiments many times with the live audience for the audience's benefit, is where we ask these simple mundane questions, but you get a good idea of where the generalized feeling is. And I would love you guys to participate in that. Again, please, so send us those comments. Would you buy sub 20? Honestly, honest today. Would you go and mortgage your house and buy sub 20 if Bitcoin was to go now all the way down below 20K? And let's quickly see where you guys are at.
Hold on. We're not telling you guys to go and mortgage your house for below 20K.
Please don't. But would you? But would you do it? 2CP, would you do it? Would you take your investment fund and everything thrown in BTC if it goes below 20K at this stage?
Definitely. I mean, I would dream of a 20K entry.
You dream for it, but you do have below 20K, or did you literally sit out that whole sideways? No nibbles, no nothing? Is that the true Ikimoku discipline?
According to what I see now, if I've been a good student, the real entry here was when it goes inside this red cloud, right?
Yeah, exactly. 12.
Basically, that's a lovely strategy because you don't have to sit around this choppiness.
Just wait for
And
a
when you
cloud.
go to that entry inside that cloud, within a few days, then you just experience the euphoria phase, basically, just going up.
Yeah. So yeah, I got in the 1200s. I got in over here, which is okay. It wasn't down here, it wasn't 1,000, but then again, it saved me all this heartburn.
Yeah, you don't have to sit, like I said, you don't have to sit around all this choppiness and stress about your position and what. You just enter here and then it just goes. What a feeling! I mean, you love that kind of move.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm not even running a stop. My funds are sitting in my cold storage because I have enough time that if I get an exit signal, I have enough time, I have enough breathing room to send my funds to an exchange and sell them and get out with a fat wedge of profit.
No, I love that because at that point here on ETH, and I think it's the same on Bitcoin chart, it's exactly the 6183 retrace 786 from the previous low, and a lot of people out there on Twitter were still calling another sell-off. And Ichimoku Cloud was basically telling you the complete opposite way.
Yeah, there's nothing in this chart that tells you to short. Like shorting over here is pure gambling. You might get it right.
When it was at the bottom of the cloud, when you took basically the long entry, people were shorting out there.
Oh yeah. But this is what people do. They short the bottom and they long the tops.
Even at what's that level? 12K now you said. where the price
Yeah.
crossed here. Even
Yeah,
at that level,
totally.
people were still shorting.
Yeah.
That causes the short squeeze
Yeah.
and the price just shoots basically.
Yeah. Because unfortunately, a lot of people, especially on CT, are gamblers rather than traders, and they just decide arbitrary levels to say, "Oh, okay, it's gone high enough. I'm going to short. Oh, it's low enough, or no, okay, now it's high. I'm going to long because it's got legs." Whereas, you should be doing the opposite. You should buying the blood, and you should be selling the euphoria.
I actually got a question on exactly just that. It's maybe something that when I used to use Ichimoku Cloud a lot in the beginning. I have to be honest with you, at this stage I don't trade the Ichimoku that much, and I've never been as knowledgeable as you, to be honest. I mean, guys, that's why I'm not known for Ichimoku trading, but the main thing is I used to throw in the RSI a lot. So for anybody that is using the strategy or dying to know this, do you use any external indicators? Or is everything you would need in this indicator to make a decision?
Everything I need is in this indicator.
Well, that's an amazing thing, because I would try immediately also, we would be RSI and does this done and
That's our style. That's our style. But you know what? Outside whatever I use. I mean, you use Wyckoff price action. I use a lot of Elliott wave. There's 2 or 3 other strategies that I really like. Not that I like to learn, but I'm really attentive when somebody talk about as knowledgeable as 2CP talk about Ichimoku Cloud. I'm like both ears and red open and see what he's saying. Another one is the harmonic pattern, which I believe quite a lot, right? I always wanted to learn harmonic pattern, but I never had, the the willingness to learn after I learned Elliott wave, and Ichimoku Cloud as well. If I haven't picked up Elliott wave at the beginning, that will be the one of the 3 options that we have chosen. Is either the harmonic pattern or the Ichimoku Cloud.
I'm kind of on the same boat there, buddy. So I have to say. But okay, now at least I've learned something really good. Thanks.
Every time with us. Not every day, but every time with us, I'm like, okay, yeah. Wow, beautiful chart. I love it.
Now I've got an idea. I've got a big idea here, 2CP, because I mean we're looking at ETH, we're looking at BTC, and I'm looking at some of those candles. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe there's an edge to edge in Cardano. Is that a potential? Can you maybe have a look at that? Let's have a look.
Okay, so here is Cardano on
We're doing
the
this
weekly.
Cardano.
So, if you look at this, if you look at this cloud, again, it looks exactly like Ethereum did at the bottom of the last bear market. So you have this massive, it's like 200% if I remember well. Where is it? 140% edge to edge potential move that nobody is going to believe that
It's possible.
It's possible. You have a C clamp, but we haven't had the lagging span cross over through the price yet. Now, again, to reiterate, the lagging span crossing through price isn't a signal, it's a warning. It's like heads up, there's momentum here. Should we get that?
Possible bullish momentum. That's basically that. Maybe you can zoom in a little bit.
Can we zoom into that part?
Sorry. So, once this crosses over and we're over the Tenkan, you could potentially take this trade, which is a beautiful 160% trade, to the Kijun and take profit at the Kijun. It's a bit of a ballsy move. It's not kind of strictly within the Ichimoku trading strategy, but if you are convinced that this move has runs, and for whatever reason you believe that Cardano is going to outperform the rest of the market, and that you're convinced that this is going to that along is appropriate at this stage, that is the move I would take. If we switch through the daily, we have
The
some
cloud's already
confirmation
done.
for that.
See, I was thinking that there might be we might be below the cloud, maybe on our way for an edge to
You were hoping for another entry.
So here we can see again beautifully. We poked our head into the cloud. We did it. We did it with the TK lines well kind of crossed. Cut right through it. The cloud has flipped bullish. TK lines are bullish. Lagging span is above price. So generally, this tells you that yes, there is an entry to be had. This is a good place to get in. And then you flip to the weekly to see where are my take profits going to be, and you would select these levels. Flipping to the 12-hour. Yeah.
So just to recap, if you can maybe just go back to that daily, I just want to get that value. So there's an entry to be had roughly between where we are and what would be the lowest extreme of where it's at the moment on the daily.
Where would the support level be?
Yeah, what price point is that?
Okay, so 0.38. So generally,
38 cents.
Yeah, 38 cents. So generally, if I wanted a dip to buy, I'd look to buy the cloud, the edge. A dangerous thing when you take these, when the cloud is shaped in this manner is, and this has caught me out before, is where you buy the close above the cloud, and then the cloud is sloping downwards. So your invalidation here is a close within the cloud. So here you would have been chopped up a bit. You'd have gone in, out, in, and now you're still in. However, if this kind of curls down and crosses over, it can bring a bit of emotional pain because your invalidation point is constantly moving away from you.
Yeah. So as time goes on and you're sitting in your position, your invalidation level now is acting not in your favor, it's actually acting against you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to hold for deeper pain until you can actually now, by using the strategy, say, okay, I'm out.
Exactly. Which is why we always want to see an upward sloping cloud.
Okay, this is much cleaner, much crisper.
Yeah. Your lateral invalidation point is following you up. Then again, you had the exact same thing here. When you bought in over here, you were at risk of your invalidation point being down here. So
that's okay. So yeah, risk. There's no reward without risk, basically.
Exactly. It's just something you need to suck up and take it. Flipping to the 12-hour, again, here we see momentum is starting to come in. Cloud is starting to move, in a thin, slow upsloping manner. Lagging span is moving up nicely. We're seeing, these beautiful entry opportunities as the price bounces off the 12-hour Kijun. So again, if I were a discretionary trader and I wasn't following Ichimoku specifically, I would say, bid the Kijun and close with a price below it, with a close below it.
A candle
again.
Close.
Yeah, not strict Ichimoku strategy. It's a discretionary strategy, but what this is telling us is that the Kijun is being bid and being defended by bulls.
So overall, there's still interest there, but the fact that the cloud is widening is showing us that the momentum of that interest is kind of dissipating at this stage.
Correct. I mean, look, when you look at this chart and you compare it with this chart, it's a much different scenario. In this scenario, you're seeing a pump consolidation, and generally you get continuation. So if I had a gun to my head and was forced to trade one of these three assets, I would probably, as I trade the 12-hour, I would probably trade ETH, as I know that it's on support level against Bitcoin and is probably going to outperform in the coming days. I can also see that the cloud is, nicely sloping upwards, and we
Well,
have
there you
formed a
have it.
higher high. We have
ETH
formed a
is the
higher high.
best bet. Yeah, we've got a higher high on that structure there, so
Yeah.
ETH is the better bet.
Yep. Not financial
Well,
advice.
not
Perfect. Love
financial
it. Love
advice.
it.
Let's go through the comments, guys. So I really found this interesting as always, guys. 2CP, I really enjoyed your analysis. Guys, if you want to go and follow him on Twitter, you do a lot of posts on Twitter as well. There's a lot that you're busy with. So there's his handle, 2CommaPauper. Is a Twitter. It will also be in the video description for those that don't want to, just make sure you get to the official account. Our accounts do have the ability of getting copied and hacked, and one letter gets changed into something else. And
Yeah. I think 2CP's got his tutorial on how to use his strategy in form of a PDF. Do you still have it on your Twitter account
or your website. It was a website.
or
Isn't it?
website?
Yeah, it's my Substack. You can visit my Twitter profile, and there's the link to my Substack. It's totally free. You can just subscribe to it. I drop analysis from time to time and trading strategies, and there's a zero to hero guide for Ichimoku trading, which has been read actually over 100,000 times now.
Sure. So there you have it, guys. So get your hands on that Substack. Get to his Twitter. Get your hands on that Substack. 2CP, I want to say thanks a lot, buddy. It's Friday. It's weekend. Enjoy your weekend. And you're going to have a busy week. And I really want to say thanks for taking the time and come sharing some trading ideas with us.
Definitely.
Excellent, guys.
Thank you.
It was a
Thank you for
pleasure
coming.
as always. Happy trading and have a good one.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
buddy. All right, guys. So let's see. Fibonacci Lee, what have you learned?
I was not learning. I was listening. I was listening to those levels pretty, really carefully, you know.
Okay.
But I mean, as you can see, amazing long-term swing strategy. I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 pages of Ichimoku Cloud document that I have to read and learn, and after that, for swing trading, sorry, I think it's
Let's do.
a really good, it's a really good tool to have.
Yeah, that's true. No, then it's true, guys. I want to say thanks, and I just want to remind you guys, in addition to that, our channel sponsor is our main channel sponsor is Prime XBT. You can join our Discord, top right hand side of the screen. There's a little Scan Me Discord, or you can use the link in the video description. Head over to join our advanced trading group. All you need to do is open an account with our Prime XBT affiliate link. You can scan the QR code bottom right hand side of the screen, and it's actually going to give you a month free access to our harmonic scanner and our bootcamp sessions and everything that's happening in the advanced group in our Discord server. So I will tell you guys to definitely take advantage of that, especially in these trying times where you're getting to a point now where the moves are losing momentum. So you kind of want to make sure that you understand, are you supposed to be laddering out? Where would you want to be laddering out? And because fear, greed can easily overcome, the common sense that the chart tells you. There's no more momentum, then there's no more momentum. That being said, right, okay, Lee, over to you, my friend. Do you have anything chart wise or anything significant or you want to share for everybody going into the weekend? I think we kind of want to end up pretty soon. The weekend is really afoot.
Well, first advice, if you are a day trader today, or right now, exit your position. We're gonna have this PMI in news event in about, I think, at 8:30 US time. So it should be in about 10 minutes. So we're gonna have a little bit of volatility intraday as we speak. And in terms of Bitcoin, I think we are also hitting kind of local top 2618. We are struggling to go above this area. You can see my screen, right?
I'll bring up your screen there, my friend. No, it's not shared.
Is it not shared? It is shared.
Yeah.
It's not shared.
Not shared.
Well, Hold on. It's still no shade.
Still not shared.
Well, then I don't know. I give up. I don't know what's happening with EVMUX. This thing.
Lee's
Today
not
the
sharing
mic
his
is
screen.
not, the speaker is not working. The mic is working. Sharing screen is not working. So I don't know. But be careful. I mean, we are losing momentum. There's a bearish divergence on a daily chart confirmed yesterday by this red daily candle. If you can't manage to make a higher high quickly and close above it, I think like we're gonna go through and maybe if you're lucky visit this 20K again pretty soon. That's my thought. So if you are late in a trade, I mean a late long, I would suggest you to take profit. It's always another trade. And if you have position from 15,000, this earlier position from late last year or beginning, from late last year where we called it, that position is gold. Like, if the bottom is in, that position is really gold.
Yeah, you can look after that. Right, well, there's some more. Thank you for TCP, and I mean, really awesome for the guy. I've got a few things that I briefly want to share. I don't want to take too much of your time, guys. So, alt season. Why do we think the next move? You said something. You can see you would rather be in ETH rather than in BTC, and this is the reason why. If you look at Bitcoin price, and I made this tweet, I think what time today or 10 a.m. yesterday, basically pointed out. Bitcoin is still grinding upwards, although the momentum is lost. You can clearly see that, it's a slow grind. But the dominance is broken structure and is trending down. And it's within this grind where Bitcoin can go up and down, and sideways, where you can find that as the dominance starts trending down, that you're also going to start firing off one after the other. So this is normally a good sign for if you want to be taking some profit, to take profit if one of the alts that you're holding is firing off. Good time to just say I'm laddering out, maybe selling a little bit, because there's always going to be some sort of a test at a local low. That's one thing we do know. The market is in that sense very kind. It does give you that second chances in that sense. Looking at BTC on the divergence point, and this is what I wanted to point out, and this is why I actually asked the divergence question. So if you look at BTC divergence wise, and this is on the daily, my thoughts were very clear that what we have is we've got a scenario where, let me just do this and make it visible. So we've got a scenario here where price is moving up, and you can almost see as price is trending to the upside, and this is now a daily analysis, you can see that what we've done is we've made yet another higher high, okay, and the RSI has now gone and made a lower low. So it's made an additional bearish divergence between these two pivots. But now what we don't want to see is, we don't want to see that lower low, and that's that 22.4. So for me, over the weekend, if there's any crazy volatility, my thoughts are going to be that if price falls below this 22.5, it deletes the need or the bullishness that traders will be looking at. Why do I say that? Well, remember the 4 hour a while ago. We were looking at the 4 hour and I said, listen, when we started creating that divergence, we might have that shakeout event, but the continuation of the move might still continue on because of the fact that we had all those bullish divergence. We just need to shake everybody out. And that is why I really like TCP's targets, because none of his targets is down here. And I'm using the 4 hours of fractal. Sitting down here, it's still just as a shakeout target. So if we go back to the daily, the narrative around that is, if you look at where price is now, and if the daily still goes down to these areas as a shakeout, you can still see that we've now only created, we bounced off the previous resistance levels. So 21.5, 22.3, anything around that area can then be considered as a good buy at the dip moment. And that is potentially if the RSI, or if the Bitcoin and its divergence play in the correct order, and the dominance of Bitcoin and its dominance moves in the correct order, we might see that your alt's going to really fire off quite strongly. That's about that. I don't have anything else to share for today. Lee, are we going to close it up?
Yeah, perfect. 5 minutes to go before the PMI, so I'm gonna watch the price action now.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on this? Look at this. This S&P 500 is running at the moment. It's but now look at this.
It's
Look at
running,
this.
but now I mean, today is
Look at
gonna be
this.
a news event day, so it's gonna be shaky the whole day. I think in the afternoon also we have some news, so not trading that. Don't try to because it's gonna be up and down. It's gonna go sweep the highs and the lows, definitely.
A lot of chop.
A lot of chop.
Right, guys. In addition to this, we also have additional channel sponsors. Should you want to support our channel, you can sign up using our our link to open a Bybit account. Get some bonus discounts when you fund your Bybit account, and the same then for OKX. So should you want to open an OKX account or a Bybit account and trade with us. Guys, as a last closing reminder, none of this is financial advice, although we enjoy talking to you guys. We're talking about our own trading and how we go about our own trading as well. So just keep that in mind and always do your own due diligence. Make sure that you understand what you're doing, because there is no undo button. Once money is lost, it's lost. You're going to have to work hard to get it back. Fibonacci, on a positive note, I'm going to enjoy my weekend. You're going to enjoy yours. And we're looking forward to Monday, a busy trading week ahead if we get some negative volatility over the weekend, don't you think?
Over the weekend on Bitcoin?
Yeah, if we get a big sell-off over the weekend, I think next week can be a green week if we need to go and test some previous support levels, don't you think?
Definitely. Well, let's see. I think it's quite due to have a shakeout event coming back to this 22,000. That would be awesome. 21 would be even better. But these two levels are on watch. And if you go, even if you go make a higher high, I think that would be a nice try to short the market. I've got some limit order already set up with OKX at a little higher level, a little bit, not too much.
There we go. Right, guys, you have a lovely day. Lee, always keep hustling, guys.
Always. Bye.
Keep hustling.